The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well.
In one of the most provocative incidents in the Strait of Hormuz in recent years, Iranian-backed pirate forces launched a brazen attack on an Israeli-linked oil tanker. What they hoped would be a quick hijacking and political victory turned into a humiliating disaster when the United States Navy responded with lightning speed. In a swift and highly professional operation, American naval forces rescued the tanker and its entire crew, dealing another heavy blow to Iran's strategy of hybrid warfare in the region. The attack came at a moment of extreme tension. For weeks, Iran had been threatening to disrupt oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz in response to tightening U.S. sanctions and the naval blockade targeting the IRGC. On this particular morning, a large oil tanker carrying crude oil destined for Europe, operated by an Israeli-affiliated shipping company, was transiting the narrow choke point. The vessel was flying a neutral flag, but its ownership connections to Israel were well known. Suddenly, several fast-moving speedboats carrying armed men approached the tanker from multiple directions. These were not ordinary Somali-style pirates. Intelligence later confirmed they were IRGC-linked operatives using asymmetric tactics, a classic Iranian method of plausible deniability. The attackers used RPGs and small arms fire to intimidate the crew, then attempted to board the vessel using grappling hooks and ladders. Within minutes, they had seized control of the bridge and taken the crew hostage. The pirates immediately raised Iranian-backed flags and began broadcasting propaganda messages claiming the tanker was part of Zionist aggression. The international community held its breath. This was exactly the kind of incident Iran had been threatening, using proxy pirate forces to attack Israeli interests while trying to avoid direct confrontation with the United States. But the response came faster than Tehran expected. The United States had anticipated such provocations. A powerful American naval task force was already positioned near the Strait of Hormuz, including Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, a littoral combat ship, MH-60 Seahawk helicopters, and special operations teams from Naval Special Warfare. As soon as distress signals and live feeds from the tanker reached U.S. Central Command, the order was given: execute rescue operation. The U.S. Navy launched a textbook swift response. Within minutes of the hijacking being confirmed, 2 destroyers altered course and increased speed toward the captured tanker. Overhead, armed Seahawk helicopters lifted off from the decks, carrying Navy SEAL teams and Marine reconnaissance units. Electronic warfare aircraft began jamming Iranian communications in the area to prevent coordination between the pirates and their mainland handlers. The operation unfolded with remarkable speed and precision. As the American warships closed in, they issued clear radio warnings demanding the immediate release of the tanker and its crew. The Iranian-backed pirates responded with threats and sporadic gunfire. That was a fatal mistake. The rescue operation entered its active phase. Navy SEALs fast-roped from helicopters onto the deck of the tanker in a classic VBSS, visit, board, search, and seizure maneuver. At the same time, sharpshooters on the destroyers provided precision overwatch. The moment the SEAL teams landed, they engaged the pirates with overwhelming but controlled force. Short, intense firefights broke out across the deck and bridge. Using night vision, flashbangs, and superior close-quarters training, the SEALs systematically cleared the vessel section by section. The pirates, who had expected a slow international negotiation, were completely unprepared for the speed and aggression of the American response. Within 25 minutes of the first SEAL touching the deck, the entire tanker was secured. While the boarding operation was underway, American warships also targeted the pirates' speedboats that tried to escape. Several vessels were destroyed by precise naval gunfire and helicopter-launched Hellfire missiles. One larger support boat, suspected of being an IRGC command vessel, was also engaged and disabled. The entire rescue operation, from the moment the hijacking was reported to the full securing of the tanker, was completed in less than 2 hours. It was a masterclass in rapid naval response and special operations execution. The rescued crew was transferred to a U.S. Navy ship for medical evaluation and debriefing. The oil tanker, though slightly damaged, remains seaworthy and was escorted out of the high-threat area by American warships. In a powerful show of deterrence, the U.S. Navy maintained a strong presence in the immediate vicinity for the following days, signaling that any further attacks would face the same decisive response. The strategic and political consequences of this incident were significant. The operation also sent a clear message to the IRGC that their hybrid tactics can be met with overwhelming conventional force. For Israel, the successful rescue provided reassurance that the United States remains committed to protecting Israeli-linked shipping despite growing regional tensions. For the international shipping community, the event served as both a warning and a relief. A warning that the waters remain dangerous, but a relief that major naval powers are ready to respond decisively. This event highlighted a new reality in the Persian Gulf. The era when Iran could harass shipping with relative impunity appears to be ending. The United States Navy has shown it can project power rapidly and effectively, even in the world's most congested and dangerous maritime choke point. The rescue operation will likely be studied in naval academies for years to come as an excellent example of rapid crisis response, inter-service coordination, and the effective use of special operations forces in a maritime environment. It reinforced America's role as the primary guarantor of freedom of navigation in critical international waterways. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the most strategically vital areas on Earth. What happened on that day proved that any attempt to disrupt it through piracy or state-sponsored terrorism will be met with swift and decisive military action by the United States. What do you think about this daring Iranian-backed attack and the U.S. Navy's rapid response? Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future exclusive military and geopolitical analyses.